Hello. I've just been editing this video, um, and to be honest, I found it a bit boring just as a time lapse. So what I'm gonna do now is I think I'm gonna talk a little bit about um, the actual painting that you can see in that time lapse a little bit more. I'm never really sure whether I should talk about my artwork, because I do sometimes feel like talking about it a lot destroys other people's kind of ability to bring their own things to the work, um, and I don't want to do that. Not only that, but I also think that I find it so hard to just talk to the camera like this. I also think a lot of the time, I don't even really know what the work's about. Like I think sometimes I put things into my work subconsciously that I'm not even fully aware of. But I'm gonna give it a go with this one anyway. So I guess the idea behind this work initially was I had been well, when I did the abstract drawing that I did in the video Abstracts and Chill, I started thinking about kind of abstract art a lot more, and what I think the limitations are of abstract art. And I think the limitations of abstract art is that I think abstract art can sometimes seem quite flat because it's done across a single plane. It can sometimes feel quite flat and two-dimensional. I think it has a lot of depth to it, so I'm not sure if two-dimensional is the right word, but I just mean it seems to happen across a single plane, the action in an abstract piece. Whereas when you draw things with perspective, it gives a lot more depth. And through thinking about ways that I could potentially add depth to an abstract work, maybe using 1 point perspective or something in an abstract work, for example, I kind of started to think, well, if I do an abstract piece with 1 point perspective, then I'm just going to end up drawing things that look like pipes, pretty much, so that was kind of the idea behind doing a series of pictures about pipes. Was the idea that I would kind of play with the pipes almost as abstract forms rather than actually being pipes themselves. During the creation process of making this painting, I was thinking a lot about politics and I was thinking about it particularly from an economic perspective, and how I guess how politics can be kind of corrupted by economic factors, and I guess I've recently been very dissatisfied with the way that that the media, how poorly the media actually covers some world issues, and in particular, there was a general strike in India on the 26th of November, 2020, and it was the biggest strike that's ever happened in the world. I think it was something like 260 million people took part in this big strike. So it was equivalent to about 4 times the British population took part in this strike. About 3/4 of the US population, and about 1/5 of the Indian population who took part in this massive strike. One of the biggest protests in history, and I didn't find out about it until January, because as far as I remember there wasn't really anything on the news about it, and that's just, I don't know, a lot of things like that just kind of get me annoyed, because it makes me feel as if the mainstream media is kind of feeding a narrative rather than actually just trying to portray the truth, which in some ways I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to really expect the mainstream media to do anything else, really, because, everybody's biased, so it just so happens that they are biased in their particular way, and I'm biased in a different way. But anyway, I think I was thinking a lot about economics when I was painting this, and as a result, I think drawing something as industrial and like one thing that I wasn't thinking about so much about pipes when I was first kind of drawing this, but seems to have come out as I've looked at the work more, is how kind of industrial pipes are, and how practical they are, and I've kind of I've almost kind of like anthropomorphized. I can never say that word. Anthropomorphized the pipes. Yeah, I've kind of almost gotten the pipes to take on human characteristics by making one of them go through a bed like that and putting them in like this kind of little bed sit. And I don't know. I think maybe that might have been because I was subconsciously thinking a lot about politics and economics, and how that affects ordinary people, and how detached I feel like the mainstream media and the government are from the population. But that's just a few things. I mean, if you see something completely different in this painting, then I'm not saying you're wrong, I don't know what it's about, it's about whatever you want it to be about. Anyway, thanks for listening.